right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our city council meetings are broadcast on television and on Comcast Channel 99 and rebroadcast on WMGJ Radio. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Alvin Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Toles. Here. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Eccles.
Here.
Billingsley.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Brian Harbison to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you pray with me? Almighty God, we thank you for today. We thank you for life. We thank you for your blessings on us as individuals and as a city. God, we just pray that you will just anoint the city council today with the wisdom and knowledge they need in making the very important decisions that they make that affect us all. We just love you. Thank you for the gift you gave that no one can match. God, the greatest gift of all, your son, Jesus. Pray that everything we do will bring glory to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and city council meeting held on May 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of May 26th through June 1st.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor. Unfinished business. Item number 8A is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to add micro distillery to the chart of permitted uses. This ordinance was presented last week for first reading. Distilleries are currently allowed in I-1 and I-2 light and heavy industry districts. This ordinance would allow micro distilleries in B4 districts, which are located downtown and on Wall Street. This change would make the city code more consistent with the state code. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 8B is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to add a definition for micro distillery. This ordinance was presented last week for first reading. This amendment is in conjunction with the previous ordinance and specifies that a micro distillery is limited to 75,000 proof gallons annually. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
This is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 1104 Glendale Avenue in District 1. Julie Ann Ryder being the last known owner. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, I'm Brian Harbison with the Building Department. This case involves a burned house which burned in March of 2016. We started our case in March of this year. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 10 addresses items A through I, and this is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing, allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of resolutions assessing nuisance abatement liens against property. This is for demolition that has already been performed, and we have 9 locations. 105 Brookwood Avenue in District 1, $2,866.40. 1563 Litchfield Avenue in District 1, $2,966.40. 1579 Litchfield Avenue in District 1, $2,991.40. 1513 Terrace Drive in District 1, $1,966.40. 1108 Grant Avenue in District 2, $2,516.40. 1400 Robinson Avenue in District 2, $2,841.40. 1015 Slusser Avenue in District 2, $2,691.40. 1008 Vincent Avenue in District 2, $4,716.40. And finally, 1003 Holly Street in District 5, $2,241.40. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to any of these resolutions? Does anyone wish to speak in favor? The chair will entertain a motion to adopt all 9 resolutions.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt all 9 resolutions, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt all 9 resolutions.
Item number 11 is a resolution authorizing application and acceptance of Bureau of Justice Assistance Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. This grant is a 50-50 match for purchase of 39 ballistic vests, and the amount is $37,050, with the city being responsible for $18,525. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 12 is a resolution appointing Borland Benefield PC. The Finance Department has recommended this accounting firm to perform the audit of the city for the next 3 fiscal years for a fee of $67,500 each year. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay. Item number 13 is being presented today for first reading. It's an ordinance amending fiscal year 2017 general fund budget. This is to reflect receipt of the grant and expenditure of the funds related to the purchase of bulletproof vests in the resolution adopted earlier. This ordinance has been presented today for first reading, and the council will vote on it next week. All right, new business. Is there any new business? Department reports, committees, boards.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jen Wethington. I'm with the Gadsden Parks and Recreation Department, and I wanted to just tell everybody and invite everybody to a few events that we have going on. This weekend is Wheels on the Hill at Knockaloo Falls Campground. It is Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 8 to noon. Awards will be granted at noon on Sunday. This is a family event where you can come see antique cars, new cars, and it's like a little swap meet for different parts of vehicles. For ages 4 and up, it is a $3 admission fee. Next weekend, we will see a lot of barbarians coming into town. where we have our Barbarian Challenge at Knockleville Falls. We welcome these runners, these obstacle course runners, to enjoy a 5-mile race with around 20 to 25 obstacles during this. It is $65 this week. Next week it will race at $75 for entry, and on race day it's also $75. Packet pickup will happen race day or Friday night at Back 40. We also have the farmers markets. We started last weekend with a great start. We're excited about this with the new renovations at the 5th Street Market. Friday's farmers market is from 7 a.m. to noon, and we have a lot of produce. It is a local farmers market for local farmers to grow and sell, and we will also be adding some arts and crafts vendors to this event. We're excited. We have a lot of other things going on with our summer camp beginning. We have 4 camps this year, and we are full with all slots, but we do ask parents if they're interested in their kid being a part of our summer camp, please contact either Carver, East Gadsden, Mitchell, or Raymond Hill. Thank y'all.
Okay, thank you, Jen. All right, citizens' request. Stephen Thomas.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Thomas. Do I need to say anything else?
That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Name and address.
Oh, I live at 1316 4th Avenue. And I had recently had a little particular issue with obtaining a warrant for my niece that took my mother's car. I wanted to get her for unauthorized use of a vehicle. And I did not like, as a term, I would say, like the bedside manners of the lady that, gives you the warrant. She pretty much was short with me and didn't give me a whole lot of time and assist me in the process of obtaining the warrant. She was kind of like, well, you can't get it because you're not the owner of the vehicle. I'm like, my mother's 85 years old. I can go get the necessary paperwork in order to obtain the warrant. Well, no, you still can't get it because you're not the owner of the vehicle, I'm saying. So if you have an older person that's being mistreated by children and then they can't come, what do you do? And it's pretty much that her manners were not very humanitarian, I would say. It was not a manner of decency, because I go through the necessary process to get this thing done. I was going to bring my mother up there, but however, the issue is resolved. She got wind that she was going to jail, and she returned that vehicle. So, no, it's no present issue existing, and I think everybody's trying to work together now to make things better. And I do appreciate that. I appreciate the job that the Gadsden City Police Department is doing. Presently, they are locking criminals up. And I know I got 5 minutes, but it wasn't going to take me that long to say what I had to say, so I just kind of throw a couple more things in, if you don't mind. Our children, I would like to see, I don't know how much input the council will have with the educational process. I would like to see a more diverse method of teaching that would intensify the trade skills that they could obtain to qualify them for jobs presently that are being offered, because I don't think that we're up to speed to some states here in the United States. I would like to see it be intensified, more diverse. If you can't get it through the paperwork here's a man with hands-on. Once you learn it with your hands, then maybe you can put it on paper. Because some people can do the job, but they don't necessarily have the academic side of it together. Because a lot of things I can do personally myself that the man that's got the paper, he can't do. He's got the qualifications, but he's not able to perform the job. But if you teach me hands-on how to do the job, I can understand within my mind how to put it on paper, So that's kind of almost going to close the book on me. And I appreciate the nuisance and abatement department for the great job that they're doing, because a lot of these houses and things around here, they're nothing but havens for criminals. And, there's no need to give them a place for refuge. We'll just take the refuge away. Maybe they'll have to go somewhere else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Just before we call up the next speaker, I'll mention, before we call up the next speaker, I'll make mention of something, and I'm going to try to hold firm to, you know, the respect rule that we have in terms of not identifying a person by name. But there is, to his point about those who aren't college ready and in the school system preparing an option for those kids. There is an administrator within the school system, actually a former principal, who is working diligently to develop a program through a partnership with local businesses. And there are a couple angles. He's benchmarking some programs that exist in other parts of the state. These programs exist in Mobile, Huntsville, and the West Alabama area. And basically what he's doing is there are two components. There's a component for technical skills. There's a very high need amongst manufacturers for those with technical skills. A lot of these kids aren't ready for college and probably don't have the resources to go to college. So when they graduate, they need an option. And so this technical program is being heavily sponsored to some degree by Honda, and Goodyear, I think, is going to step up and partner, and there are going to be a number of things that are going to happen as it relates to that. So it's all good activity. And I'll be honest with you, it started with this administrator just saying, I got to do something because I see the result. I see these kids kind of falling out of the process. So that's one angle of it. And the other angle, of course, is the soft skills. So there's also some effort on the part of the same administrator to develop a ready-to-work program where these kids will be able to take ready-to-work classes, soft skills classes. They essentially have to declare their senior year that, hey, I'm not going to be that kid that goes to college, all right? So the academic model doesn't necessarily fit me. And so these kids will be able to engage in a set of soft skills classes that's going to actually prepare them. And actually, to some degree, they're going to be more credentialed than a kid who is in his second year of community college, because they're going to have several certificates, ready to work, safety, and a number of things that's going to prepare them. So again, I just wanted to touch on that while it was hot, because there are some things that are actually taking place. You know, and so, you know, we've talked a lot about what we see in terms of the data, but there's some things that are happening and that are going to benefit these kids at a high level. Mr. Cole?
Good morning.
Morning.
President Williams, members of the council, and to the mayor. There have been quite a bit of discussion lately about department heads, but before I get into my speech, I want to acknowledge some of the departments and department heads who have been very professional, courteous, and in assisting me in trying to help citizens, and also giving me information that I need. And some of these, well, this name is difficult for me to call, but the person has been very professional and helpful. And that's the city attorney, Lee Roberts, the police chief, police chief Jaggers, the fire chief, Carroll, the community development, Ms. Cody at planning, Ms. Iva Nelson and her staff at the city clerk's office, and also the personnel office. I know they get tired of me just like you do, but they are very professional and they have done very good in trying to assist me. I do have one question for the mayor. He can answer it when I sit down if he can. We would like to know, when do you plan to post the position of Director in Parks and Recreation? This position has been vacant for 2 months, and we don't know why it hadn't been posted, but there are some white and black citizens who would like to apply for the position. So hopefully you can give me an answer this morning. President Williams, several weeks ago I came before this council and requested that you all appoint a biracial committee, staff. There are some issues in this city that really needs to be addressed. And if we had a biracial committee, I think it would help. We have blacks meeting in one part of the city, whites meeting in the other part. And the most prevalent issue at this time is the Gadsden City Board of Education. I've had some white citizens to tell me that some of the black members are stating it is our time now. And if that is true, then that is wrong, because all you're doing is just pouring fire on speculation and things that's also going on. Secondly, I hear there's a white board member who's supposed to be an attorney who's going around having meetings stating that the blacks are trying to take over the board and they want to appoint a black superintendent. And now that's putting race into it. So when we stand up and say it's not black and white and it's not racial, that's not true. And we need to deal with the issues and don't run from it. Now, for over 100 years or more, I know it's only been white superintendents in this city. So I don't know what the problem is if you put someone else different in office. But the issue is we need to address these issues and other issues. Several weeks ago, Councilman Worthy was lambasted for walking out of a meeting. But 3 months ago, when the white board members walked out of the board meeting, I didn't hear at the board education meeting, I didn't hear anyone utter a sound. And to me, they walked out on the students of the Gadsden City Public School System. The point I'm trying to get over is we need to address these issues. It's no need of talking at you, you talking at me. We need to get together and discuss this. And if you appoint a commission, let it be equal number, have some millennials on there, and they bring up all of these issues. Now, you can have lunch together. Blacks can go to a white church. White can go to a black church. The only thing in that state is that you eat and go to church, but it does not deal with the issues. So I would like to hear the council people express your views on this biracial committee and hear what you have to say. We need to do something. Instead of talking at each other, we need to talk to each other to work out these problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. We have an individual that approached us. He made an attempt to get on the agenda and didn't meet the deadline, so he's asking to be recognized today. So did want to ask it to anybody.
What is his concern?
His concern was profiling, I think, is what was being raised. So it was an issue. He had an experience with the police department.
How about unanimous consent, which is normally what we do?
Yeah. So does anybody object?
I don't object.
Okay.
We set a precedent, okay, you gonna let it, okay.
Good morning. My name is Marcus Witt. I reside at 507 Fifth Avenue Northwest of Tala. The incident which I'd like to speak with you all about occurred this past Saturday morning. I had spent most of Friday evening. When I say Saturday morning, it was about 1:30, 1:45. I had spent most of the day in Tuscaloosa handling some business. I got back late. I went to a local business there on Meagan Highway. It was a public business, well lit. I went in, paid for some gas, came out, pumped my gas. When I was about to leave, out of nowhere, 3 or 4 police cars just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Again, I was conducting business, paying for gas. I left the gas station and I was traveling south on, I forget the name of the street that I was on, but it intersects with 9th Street and Meagan. I noticed that there was a police cruiser behind me. He threw his lights on me. I went on across the street to a well-lit area and turned my vehicle off, got my license available, and got my insurance card. I handed those out the window to him. He proceeded to say that he stopped me because my tag was filthy and that he couldn't make it out. And that kind of bothered me. I said, well, sir, my tag is current, and I do have a light on my vehicle, a tag light. So he said, okay, that's neither here nor there. So a couple minutes passed by, he came back to me. He said, Mr. Witt, this is not sufficient evidence of your insurance. I said, sir, it has my name, it has my address, it has my policy number on it, and it has the vehicle VIN number. So what do you mean it's not a sufficient evidence of me having proof of insurance? So he let that argument go. So at that time, another cruiser arrived. So we kind of went back and forth. He asked me, had I been drinking? I said, no, sir, I have not been drinking. I'll admit, my car was a little junky. I had some stuff in it, an open trash bag. He saw an empty beer can. He said, Mr. Whitt, I noticed you have a beer can there. I said, yes, sir. I said, excuse me, I'm going to grab this beer can. I reached back, I said, here you are, sir, it's not cold. It had come out of a trash bag. So at that point, he says to me, Mr. Whitt, I need you to step out your vehicle. I said, okay, no problem. So I got out of my vehicle, myself, the officer in question and his backup, we just kind of standing there. He said, Mr. Whitt, do you have any illegal drugs in your vehicle? I said, no, sir, I do not. He specifically named cocaine, heroin, marijuana, et cetera. I said, no, sir, I do not. At that time, he asked for permission to search my vehicle. He said, Mr. Whitt, do I have your permission to search your vehicle? I said, no, sir, you do not. So at that point, he said, well, okay, you're free to go, Mr. Whitt, but I do need you to do one last thing for me. I need you to throw that can away. I said, no problem. I'm here today because, you know, I have insurance. In my heart of hearts, I know that I was profiled because where I was, the business where I was, I mean, it's well lit. So why, number one, would you follow me from a business? You see what I'm doing. You see I'm pumping gas. So why would you follow me from a well-lit business and you get a block and a half down the street and you say you can't see my tag? That's perfect, in my opinion, that's a perfect example of a rogue officer trying to fabricate cases. That's my opinion. That's what happened to me. That's not hearsay. And I sincerely think something needs to be done about that. Hopefully there was a police report done when he called my tag number in. He did give me his tag, his badge number. I did request that. But I had a senior moment, and I can't remember it. But I'm sure there's some record somewhere. But I would like for that to be noted, and I would like for someone to take a look at that officer's conduct and actions, because if he did it to me, he's doing it to others. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I will object next time. Have you been to the police chief and talked to him about your problem?
I have not. I'm new to this area.
That's where you need to start.
Well, sir,
It's not here. We can't fire, we can't do anything about it except listen to you.
I understand it.
If we start doing this every time we turn around, having somebody, we'll be here for the rest of our lives. Well, I'm not going, and I am going to object.
Excuse me, Counselor.
Until we know what he wants us to.
That's a serious problem, sir.
I agree with you,
That's a
everything you
serious
said,
problem. That's
but this is
perfectly
not
within
the
my
place.
right to come to city council and complain. It's perfectly within my
You
right.
can go to the
Mr. Witt,
up and
hold
down.
on, Mr. Witt, he has the floor now, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
There's a
Go ahead, Mr.
procedure.
Mr. Pratt, could I just say one thing in agreement with Bob? It's not so much the talk, it's that the other side is not represented. So we're hearing that, that's all. And it's nothing against him, it's letting people come up here without unanimous consent or just come up with one opinion.
Mr. Witt,
And
you
there's
don't.
always two opinions, maybe
Mr.
three.
Witt, you don't have the floor. Your 5 minutes has been granted, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay.
But can I say one thing? Get with the captain here after the meeting, and he can tell you the procedure, sir, that you need to go through.
Absolutely.
Okay, to file a complaint, okay?
I don't blame you for wanting somebody to listen to what you have to say, but this is not the place. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know which one I'm telling you to get with, sir? This is the police captain right here, sir. Look up here. Okay, get with him and he'll give you the directions you need to go, okay? I'm a retired police officer, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Evans shouldn't tell people they can't come to council meeting and file a complaint. Well, now he's wrong on that.
What is this?
Remark,
You don't tell people they
Mr.
can't come to
Eccles.
council. They have a
Mr.
right to come to council.
Mr. Eccles, we're fine. Remarks by the mayor and council? Mayor? Councilwoman Toles.
I have a District 1 meeting June the 26th at the Antioch Family Life Center.
Mr. Eccles. Councilman Worthy.
I don't think he was so much telling them not to come. I think he was telling them to get on the agenda. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to talk about the job fair. That's what I want to talk about.
There you go.
Okay? We'll change this up a little bit. But the regional job fair is coming to Gadsden. It's Tuesday, June the 27th, 2017, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 210 at the tracks, 210 Locust Street. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple other dates. It's the Job Readiness Workshop. It will be June the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Career Center here on 5th Street. Well, what there'll be, you'll get a certificate. You can go either day for those 4 hours and you'll get a certificate from the Career Center to give to the employers when you go to the job fair, and that will give you a leg up. It'll talk about resume development, interview skills, dressing for success, and workforce innovation and opportunities act. So that'll give you a leg up. So I implore you to go, but you would have to go to the website to register to even be able to enter into the job fair itself. So you can do all that. All you got to do is go to the Career Center, and they'll log you into the system and get you registered. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Billingsley.
Yes, I'd like to announce that District 5 will have a community meeting next Monday at 6 p.m. at the library. This coming Saturday at Gadsden City High School, there'll be a track meet for young kids from 8 years old to 12 years old. And my wife and I went to Birmingham last Saturday, and there were probably any parking space left at Birmingham Southern College. So these are young kids, and we need to come out and support those young folks, okay? That's this Saturday at 9 o'clock, I believe it is. And that's all I have.
Councilman Cannon.
Yes. I'd just like to remind everyone, if you want to get on the council agenda for the Tuesday meeting, you've got till 12 o'clock on Fridays to get on. I think we're probably, last two meetings, we've had people speak that wasn't on the agenda, and I think we need to get back to that part where you have to be on the agenda Friday at 12, you know? And I think this could have been avoided today if we did that. That's all I got.
All right. Councilman Reed.
I wanted to address the workforce development that I know the mayor, Frankie, and all of us have really gone overboard really in the last 5-6 years. We've hired consultants. We've talked to the teachers. We've talked to students. We put on CDs. We put on pamphlets. We've talked every way in the world to get these kids to get into workforce development, if they're not interested in college, or if they are, they can always have a backup trade. But I think when it comes right down to it, the home is where it all comes back to. They're not informed, obviously, to help the children when they get home to talk to them about workforce development. Councilwoman told me, I don't know. You were in education. But when you push everything you know to push, and it gets right back to the home, where do you go from there? I don't know. But I think it's time that we concentrate on grandmother, granddaddy, mama, and daddy at home. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ken.
Juneteenth. David, what was those dates again?
Juneteenth.
Good morning. It will be two events. It'll be this Saturday, which is called the Miss Juneteenth Pageant. That's, like debutante beauty contest for children from ages 5 until 17. They'll compete in multiple categories. We've employed Miss Juneteenth for the past several years as the, precursor to the main Juneteenth event, which will be next Saturday, the 17th. And of course, Juneteenth is cooperative with WMGJ, the city and the county. We do have various officials who participate. They make themselves known. We have several vendors, with CED Mental Health being one of the larger participants with Juneteenth. Juneteenth to help us, really get it out there. So it will be held at Carver campus on Tuscaloosa Avenue. And again, the Miss Juneteenth pageant will be this Saturday at 6 p.m. At Carver, and then next Saturday at noon. So you're more than welcome to participate yourselves. So it would be nice if we can get some more of the council people to run through and say hello.
Thank you, David.
Almost forgot to mention it.
Okay. So I do want to address the rules of procedure issue. I think the reality is that over the years, this council has kind of extended itself to recognize people who were not on the agenda for various reasons. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at a list, and we just added one. I mean, that has allowed people to address the council at some level. But part of what Mr. Eccles said is absolutely correct. I mean, I think, maybe he's a little frustrated about the method in which some of these things are being brought up, but for sure, in terms of the rules of procedure, he's absolutely correct. I take full responsibility as council president. Part of my role is to conduct the meeting. Now, the message we always want to send is that while there's no statutory privilege in terms of, or right in terms of speaking to the council, there is a privilege that's extended on behalf of this elected body. And we want people to come up and address their concerns or speak publicly. I mean, that's, and we don't want to, and I think part of what we've done in not prohibiting people, even on the day of sometimes, to speak, is that we want to make sure it's clear that it's okay for you to address this body. So we're not interested in stiff-arming people. Now, I understand today, and again, I think a point that should be highlighted is that any one of these council members could have said no. And any other time, as I'm looking at this list, at any point somebody could have objected, and that individual would not have been allowed to speak. There's nothing the president could have done to allow them to speak. And so, but I think, I think this kind of fits the category of no good deed goes unpunished. And so I would agree. I think we should go back to adhering to the rules of procedure as they stand. If you don't make the specified deadlines, then you don't get to address the council. And I think, again, it avoids some of the confusion. It shows what happens when you try to extend yourself, and those things kind of get thrown back at you. So again, I do apologize for anybody that message is not intended for. But again, our goal has always been to give folks the opportunity to address the council if they want to. Mr. Eccles?
And I want to do the same. I'm not trying to keep people from talking, coming and speaking, whatever their complaint is. But there is a first way. And that way is give the police department a chance in this case. We need to know what they want to talk about before we give a consent. I have no problem in giving consent to something, but I think until they go the proper route, I will object.
And again, it's a very good point. Now, in all fairness, Mr. Witt came up upstairs. He went through the normal process. He was advised by the clerk's office of the deadlines, and so he was told no. And so what he asked is that I'm not going to be here next week. I won't be, whether it was work or whatever. I can't be here next week. Is there any way I can address the council today? And I said, well, you just got to hope that you get consent to speak. And if you don't, be prepared to that. What I told him is don't take it personal if somebody says, hey, you can't, because that's how the process works. So I think there's a part of it that needs to be said in terms of him not necessarily doing anything wrong. He kind of walked through his process, but Mr. Eccles is absolutely right. I mean, again, you have to be careful. If you're going to control the decorum of these meetings, those processes are in place for a reason. And I apologize to anybody who feels slighted by that. Yeah, if you feel slighted by that process, you know, one thing that we do is each year after, or each election cycle, after each election cycle, this council takes the opportunity to address the rules of procedure. So,
Yeah, I want to address, last week, a young lady came without unanimous consent and spoke to us. And it started a firestorm. Now, whether her figures were legitimate or illegitimate, I don't know. But it didn't give anybody a chance for rebuttal on those figures or whatever it was. So all week, I'm looking at Facebook, and they're bombing the heck out of both sides. That's what I'm talking about. Get Friday at 12 o'clock, put it on. People have knowledge of what you're going to talk about. That gives them a chance to come up for rebuttal if that's what we're going to do. And that's what our procedures say.
yeah,
Okay.
you don't have any argument from me.
Okay.
Councilwoman Toles.
Yes, all this week, I've studied our rules of procedure, and one of the things that I'm questioning and asking now is that it's not in our rules and procedure, but for me to say, I'm gonna give way to Heather New to speak, that's not in our rules and procedure. So do we do that? Do we put that in our rules and procedure? Or do we not do that and adhere to, you have to request to be on the agenda and keep it like that, and I not say, well, I'm not gonna say anything today, and Ms. New can speak in my stead?
Well, and that's a very good point. We haven't struck that down. I mean, we've allowed a couple council members, maybe 2 or 3 up here, to do that on various occasions. And of course, you know, we just haven't struck it down. But I think now, obviously, that's not something that we've managed. It's not something that we've managed well as an elected body or as a community. So I think we have to go back to the letter of the rules of procedure at this point to make sure that we maintain decorum.
And the other thing on the lady last, you know, we got to think about meaning. She did not request to address the council.
Right.
She was called up by the president to speak. So that's a difference there. So instead of people saying she addressed the council, she did not raise her hand to request to come to speak. She was called up. And it says in here that no person shall address the council without first being recognized by the president, and the president recognized her.
I think the only thing that I opposed on that one, obviously she had an agenda, because when she came up, she passed out folders, which she had to have prepared before she got here. So it was just unreal to me under our procedures that happened. And I was very uncomfortable.
I like to go back from the beginning. What's fair is fair. If it's good for one person, it's good for the next person. That's all I'm saying. When, you know, I didn't like the fact that the Republican delegation was Republican, but that's the way the people voted. And when they came up here to speak, we wouldn't let them, right after they were elected. And what I was trying to do is bring us together, because, like it or not, we got to work with them. They run Montgomery. So we didn't let them speak. So my thing is, because they wasn't on the agenda. So my thing is, we should do that every time. If they're not on the agenda, don't let them speak, unless it's an emergency or something. Then I understand that.
Well, the thing too, last week, what it looked like, and I know it wasn't intended, but it looked like it was a white-black, it caused a white-black situation.
It is one. We need to stop denying it is that.
It is not that. You're wrong, Mr. Cole. It is not that.
Mr. Eccles,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Mr. Eccles, make your comments.
Okay.
Motion's been made to adjourn, it's been seconded.
We have a motion to adjourn in second.
Yeah.
Second.
Let's adjourn.